I'm not doing the intro. You have to.
Hi there. This is What Are We Reading? I'm Llytic.
I'm an androgynous angel who hates demons.
He's an angle.
I'm an Anglo-Saxon. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, it's someone of European descent. I mean,
Surprise, I'm a European.
English descent.
The real question is he gay or European?
¿Por qué no hemos?
That's a song I was quoting.
Yes, I know. This man is gay and European. Oh shit, no, I can't remember the next line. Fuck. And neither is disgrace. That's right. I fucking love that there's a Legally Blonde musical. Oh my god, that's amazing.
I haven't actually seen it, though. Is it any good? Goda?
Well, I mean, if you like the movie Legally Blonde, then you'll probably like it. And I like the movie Legally Blonde.
Let's do What Are We Watching with whatever the fuck that movie's called.
Legally Blonde?
Yeah.
It's one of those interesting situations in which it does better. It does better at themes of female empowerment than most, female empowerment, media.
I don't believe you.
When you compare it to stuff like She's the Man.
I don't even know what that is, so touche.
That was one of those shitty, women's sports movies. They always had terrible writing and shit. Like their entire thing was
the one
just
where she's on, the guys' team. I can be as strong as a guy.
Yeah, that whole thing is
No, why don't you just, go into the female sports and rock the world of the females and just say, fuck you to everyone. I'm the best of my kind.
Or if you are going to play against the guys, don't hide the fact that you're a woman.
Yeah, that's dumb. Just be like, throw down, bitch! I'm about to rock your world!
But, Legally Blonde was about, this, stereotypical, sorority girl who goes into law school.
Oh, God.
And it's this whole thing of, she's using her, she actually manages to successfully use, the knowledge she gained from the sorority to do stuff. To do, legal stuff.
How does... What?
I can't remember if it's in the first one or the sequel, but there's a scene in which, she's having to, get in contact with this one person who's known for, this one lady who's being known for being uptight and stuff. And she notices something specific about her hair that gives away the fact that she also used to be in a sorority.
I see it!
It's stuff like that. It's the fact it's yeah, she's an over-the-top, female character, an over-the-top, prissy person, but that doesn't stop her. She's doing just as great in law school as everyone else.
Well, I mean, as long as she can look professional in the courtroom, who gives a shit?
Oh yeah, it's one of those things. It's again,
Scoob.
better done than a lot of those movies out there that were just written by some 40-year-old white dude's idea of female empowerment. It's oh yeah, you mean when a little girl wants to play with all the boys? It's no. Or whoever's...
That's not female empowerment. That's tomboy empowerment, maybe? I don't...
That's just being a tomboy.
Yeah, that's just suddenly tomboy.
Yeah, and typically that characterization's shitty anyway. Or at least it's always shitty when Japan does it.
This just reminds me of an old movie I watched in high school about Evita Peron. And I forgot if that was female empowerment or not, or if it was more of a history movie.
Yeah.
But I think what happened is that she became more popular than her husband, who was the leader of the country, which started causing actual real problems because everyone loved her and not the actual current government. And I think she had to get killed because of it.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, or somebody tried to kill. I have to actually go back and watch Evita Peron.
I'm flashing back to whenever the latest Battlefield was coming out and people were throwing a hissy fit about being able to play as a woman.
Well, that's because it wasn't realistic. I think that was everyone's problem.
But there were tons of women that actually did act during, that were actually on the battlefield in World War II. In fact, there was one woman who, this one Russian woman, her husband got killed by Nazis, so what she did, not making this up, What she did is she bought a tank, and she just drove out to the out into the war and started shooting Nazis with her tank. It was like there was different squadrons of women who their whole thing is like, yeah, we're here killing Nazis.
I have to go back and actually read a lot of stuff for both sides of the argument and actually see where everyone gets their sources before I make a statement on that.
It's the whole thing, and on top of that, it's a video game.
Well, it's just their audience didn't like it, and they said don't buy it, so people didn't buy it.
Well, there was also the issue of when it was coming out, which was also right at the same time as one of its biggest competitors.
Well, if it's the biggest competitor, you're trying to outcompete them, right?
Or no. Wait, was it that, or was it right when Red Dead Redemption 2 was coming out?
If they did it right when Red Dead 2 came out, then they're just stupid.
Yeah,
because everyone's going to pick Red Dead.
The issue was less that and more the fact that when they decided to put it out, which was it's time to put out a video game, and all the people that were and this is also the whole thing is if you don't like there being powerful women in our video game, don't buy our video game. I don't really see how that's a bad thing to say. It's like when Fact Fiend said, "Hey, if you're some racist sack of shit and you're in our audience, fuck off. We don't want you in our audience." It's like, yeah, tell them off because that's not the kind of people you want supporting you. Who gives a shit about offending your customer base if your customer base is being a bunch of fucking assholes?
Well, I mean, their sales reflect that. The people who had a problem with it didn't buy it.
As well as the people who couldn't afford it because of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
Yeah, it was that whole thing. It was like, wow, people are really fucking stupid. It was like there's been this ongoing thing online of people bitching about women getting representation in video games. People
are upset when people are gay in TV and stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like that one thing we mentioned that was mentioned before is apparently there are people out there that would have gotten upset about me playing an Incubus.
Yeah, but that could have just been he doesn't like homebrew.
Well, they specifically said because of the Incubus thing, and so I think that has to do more with the sexual themes that brought up. So anyway, we're on chapter 19.
Wait, we're still Gee! It's almost like when it's just me and you, we don't fucking pay attention.
Yeah, because we start talking about things that matter. Like porn.
Like porn? What? I mean, I know I like porn, but I didn't know you liked porn.
Like porn and social issues.
Yeah.
Those are what matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're on to the story that makes us fucking angry instead of the story that just kind of annoys us in ways that are funny.
Also the story that just makes me really confused because I don't know when it's my line.
Yes. Because at least Stephanie Meyer knows how to indent paragraphs.
I sure hope so. She's a professional.
Quotation marks around the word professional.
I mean, she's professional enough to have somebody, look at her work and be like, nah, babe.
Yeah, I mean, she's professional enough to have gotten published through a place that wasn't a vanity press.
I don't know what that means, but do you really want to go off on another tangent? I mean, I wouldn't mind, but...
Darling, please try to eat something.
What is this, Monster Musume?
Again, I'm pretty sure the only way you can ever get away with the word darling is if you're either Southern or you're a snake from the waist down. And Claude Frollo is neither. Claude Frollo gently persuaded as I picked over my breakfast. My eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep. I felt wiped out. Claude was naturally worried about me, for I hadn't eaten nor slept since Jules' death 3 days ago. My mind focused on Renee, who, with the exception of Phoebus, truly had no family.
Wait, somebody died?
Yeah. Renee's brother. The boy who wasn't allowed ice cream.
Boo-hoo. Now he'll never get to taste ice cream ever.
Now he'll never get to shit himself due to his lactose intolerance.
I mean, that kind of would have been funny, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm a dick. Goddamn.
Does this answer your question?
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, right. Pushing my plate aside, I finally said to Cloud, what if I took Renee home? I mean, I think she could adjust to the 20th century after she took a couple shits. Should have taken both of them that summer.
Oh god, now I'm just imagining her coming to the 20th century and immediately dying to the diseases that we are mostly immune to now. Thanks to things like vaccines, or just the fact that we've more or less just gotten over the disease by ourselves through multiple generations.
So what
Humanity
you're
has, anyway.
telling me is she'd have to go to the doctor immediately.
Goes through time, immediately gets rubella.
Fuck. That would actually suck. Ugh.
Yeah.
Welcome to the future.
You now have whooping cough. Claude kissed my hand and replied, "My love, I remember when you asked me that same question. Come to the 20th century with me."
No.
I suddenly just got the image of like Claude suddenly just imitating a southern accent.
Come to the future with me. Howdy.
He allowed himself to chuckle a bit from the memory of our part in that summer. Then Claude continued, "Misha, please realize that Renee would never adjust to your 20th century. She'd be so overwhelmed and utterly lost. Just
She's
as I'm
a fucking nerd.
She's... I believe you used the word slow. Just as I'm still somewhat lost whenever I visit your time. Yeah, that's just because you haven't looked at the map."
Shut up. That was a dumb joke. I hate you for that one, actually. Like, no, stop. That wasn't funny, okay? Like, why? Why would you say that?
I don't know. It seemed like the right thing to say.
I'm disappointed in you.
I'm more laughing at like your reaction to this. You're smiling, aren't you?
No! I would never smile at that. Never.
You sassy little tsundere.
No. No, stop. Please, no. Ugh. No, how about you just... Fuck you. I thought over what he said, and yes, Claude still has a tough time coping with 20th century life. I very well could ask a 15th century preteen to come live with me. It would only confuse Renee at a time when she needed all the love and support from familiar faces.
If she's young, wouldn't she adjust easier?
Yes!
Where is, wait.
Where is the blacksmith?
$49.99.
What?
Where is Renee? Still at Chateau d'Arcy? Claude walked over to the little table and poured 2 cups of coffee. Again, diuretic. Population that's not used to it. He replied, "No, my dearest, she's at Notre Dame, visiting Quasimodo." Claude sighed as he added, "Phoebus is with her."
Madame. I looked at Claude in slight puzzlement as he handed me a coffee cup. I take it Phoebus has yet to find Esmeralda? Claude only nodded as I continued. She's the key to all this, you know? She's the one who can Ooh. She's the one that can finger Mouse's accomplice. Claude suspected. Fuck. A particular person, however, he needed proof, and Esmeralda was the only one who could positively identify him.
Okay, I'm suddenly having flashbacks because I just rewatched Aquaman earlier today, and there's this moment where, like, Arthur and Mera are, like, fleeing from the Atlanteans in like this underwater craft, and Arthur just yells out, "Oh, we got bogeys on our 6. What does that mean? Bad guys behind us." Then say that. Bad guys behind us. Like, that's what I'm imagining, because like when like the way that she's using finger, the way that finger's being, Claude's using finger here. What? Makes even less sense. But the way it's being used here is like in reference to like a police lineup.
Oh, what?
If you finger a suspect, that means you're pointing them out in a lineup.
Yeah.
So that makes even less sense if Claude's the one saying it. When did he pick up that term?
I don't know. Quote unquote, he's been watching Century 21st thing movie.
Cops shows?
Yeah, Claude likes cop shows.
Oh, he's the person out there watching NCIS. Got it.
Yeah.
Wondering where they were getting their views from.
Just Claude watching it at different times in his life at the same time in different places, just to get the more.
I have no idea who else could be watching it.
I don't even know what that show fucking is.
It's a cop procedural.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I figured that part out, but like I didn't even really know it by name.
Navy Criminal Investigation Service.
Oh, the Navy?
Yeah, I mean it is a real like branch that like a government agency that exists, but
no, but I'm thinking like the fuck they do go out in boats.
I mean, if it's like either a naval officer's been murdered or like someone's been murdered in a naval vessel or something.
Oh shit!
Like
that
crimes.
Sounds interesting, but it sounds like it'd get old quick.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that it's just a bare bones police procedural. That's only real draw is the fact that the Navy's involved.
Aw, that's sad.
Yeah. I mean, at least Lucifer is a police procedural with Lucifer.
That's like the demons would be like the suspects though, and they'd use magic and they'd have to like think of a bunch of complicated magic rules.
Fun show. Which Fox dropped for some reason. On a cliffhanger. So Netflix had to pick it up. Because fans were rightfully pissed.
I mean, did they at least give it a good ending?
The new season that Netflix is putting out is supposed to come out sometime this year, so it's not out yet.
Hasn't happened yet, okay.
Yeah. Claude Frollo grew strangely silent, then finally said angrily, "I should have known that I should have had Esmeralda dragged from the cathedral. Damn Phoebus. Falling in love with her. How, you see what has happened since." God. You know how fucked in the head you have to be to make Esmeralda the, like, true villain of the story? Like, she wasn't necessarily the best person. Like, she married Phoebus out of pity. And, on top of that, also, like left Quasimodo more or less to die, if memory serves.
What kind of person marries someone out of pity? What?
Someone that they're forced to marry.
Oh.
Yeah. Someone you have no other choice.
That's not like out of pity. That's no choice.
Because of the actions of the Court of Miracles.
Ah.
Like, oh, you saved his life, therefore he's part of this family, and therefore he's your problem.
Well, time to flee town.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing. Is like, literally, the entire issue of the situation is the fact that her and her people are getting, like, fucking, like, slandered and villainized by the Catholic Church. Like, you have to be kind of fucked in your head to not be siding with the oppressed minority.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is gonna end up getting political. Anyway.
Quick! Is it my line?
Yes.
Quad Frollo grew strangely silent.
No, that was my line.
I nodded as my thoughts turned to Phoebus, poor guy. Although I've known him for a few days, I felt a little empathy toward him now that he's suffered a broken marriage and a loss of a relative. Crap, we're still disrupted to Phoebus. Quick, read faster! Faster!
I sat silently as Claude continued to berate Esmeralda.
Crap,
What, is
crap,
he
crap.
going to set up a wall and then separate her from her family and leave her kids to starve to death? Wait.
We still can't escape it. It's still happening.
I paid no particular attention to what he was saying. Oh god, southern accent makes it worse. I paid no particular attention to what he was saying. His images of the past few years swirled in my mind. How odd that certain decisions and actions could affect so many lives. Oh god.
Oh fuck, shit, dude.
This story's from Ivanka's perspective. Or what? No, wait. Ivanka's the daughter. Oh, actually, that makes
Shit.
Like, did you? Okay, I know, like, this is like old news for like podcast, but did you hear about that interview?
What interview?
Like basically, like Trump got asked about like whether, like about like the fact that his daughter Ivanka was attractive, and his response was, perhaps if she weren't my daughter, I would be dating her.
A statement like that can only be said if you also bring up the fact that you would be around her age too. Like,
Well,
phrasing it like, if she wasn't my daughter and this was back when I was young too, I probably would have had interest in her.
even then,
That's still riding the line.
even then, there's the issue
Could
that
say
that's
is
still,
my daughter is really cute and attractive
yeah, like
because she's my little girl.
like the way he said it was like, wow, there is no other way to take this but incestuous.
Yeah, our president's an idiot right now, though. Let's just.
Yeah.
Where's our country going?
Uh,
Shit, it's too political.
You remember 4 years ago when the biggest song on the air was "Happy," you know, because people kind of like music tends to follow just the cultural mood.
Yeah.
And then our like previous like headlining song was a song whose name was literally like the number for the suicide hotline.
There was?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
for the most part, it's a pretty good song, but there's this one moment where it's like one of the lines is like, "I feel like nothing matters anymore." Like everything feels terrible and nothing matters, and all of a sudden you have like one of the other people on the album just go, "Who can relate?"
Oh god. Holy shit.
Which, like, okay, I can understand the sentiment, but the way it was said,
Yeah.
it's like, just imagine, like, in the club, "Hey, all my boys with depression, say hey!"
Hey! Just like people
like,
in the
oh,
car
God.
once they're driving to work. Hey!
Like, that was one of those songs that ended up getting a lot of people accusing of it being fake deep. It's like, no, that's not fake deep. It just has a message. There's a difference.
Yeah.
This isn't Juice WRLD where he's complaining about how all women are terrible because one person turned him down. Good and old my emotion. What?
Like, people are just like, I got turned down, I can never ask anyone out again, kind of stuff.
Well, like, what I hate, like, I don't even, like, hate, like, the fear of rejection thing. What I hate is when people blame other people for the fact that they got rejected.
Yeah, some things just don't work out.
Like, it's like, oh no, she's not attracted to you.
Maybe stop going after girls like that and go talk to your local librarian. I bet she needs some love.
Are you telling them to go cougar hunting?
No, maybe there's a young person at the library. You don't fucking know. I don't know how fucking
said
old our
librarian.
audience is.
You
Yeah,
said
and?
librarian.
Yeah, and?
I just got, like, the stereotypical librarian image.
Well, I'm
Someone,
sorry if
like,
you can only think of crotchety old ladies liking books.
I wasn't thinking crotchety old ladies. I said cougar hunting, not gilf hunting.
Well, yeah, but fuck. Let's just fucking move on.
Couldn't hold in my emotions any longer. I felt a tear fall from my eye. The first tear shed in 3 days.
Wow, you're emotional. Have you seen a doctor? Maybe you have mood swings. Claude, still pacing the room and damning Esmeralda, suddenly changed his mood as I began to speak in a stammering voice.
It's all so crazy, oh Claude, those poor kids. Everything's happening so fast. That said, I broke down in uncontrollable sobs.
Ugh. Claude Frollo rushed to my side. I welcomed his warm embrace and loving words. My love, Denisha, my sweet love. He began reassuredly. Everything will be all right, my dear. There, Nisha, let it all out. Love. He carried me back to the bed and cradled me as I cried. She can fucking walk.
I think the whole situation with this is just the fact that we don't like anyone involved.
Yeah.
Like this sort of thing with like anyone remotely likable. They're like, oh, well, that's a touching scene. And no, these are both terrible people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene that I know is happening because I read about it, and oh god.
Oh gosh.
That one, when we reach that, I might actually have another rage breaking point. Ugh. Let's see. Somehow, through the depths of my grief, I felt a slight twinge of resentment towards Esmeralda.
Fuck off.
After all, she's as much to blame for all this mess.
I would be okay with this if, like, the story was phrased in a way where we knew that Claude was, like, tricking these people.
Yeah, have it towards like a story that we're seeing it from the villain's perspective, but don't shy away from the fucked up shit that's going on.
Yeah.
Although I guess depending on how you do that, it could go horribly awry. I mean, there's a reason why Confederacy didn't get greenlighted. You know what that one is?
No, of course I fucking don't. I don't know anything.
It was a like TV series that was proposed that was supposed to be like an alternate history thing. Like the Confederate Army had won the war, and so like America's just like full of slaves.
I'm pretty sure if it was like modern day, eventually slavery would again be gone.
You'd hope
You know
so.
what I mean? Slavery is. I mean, how many places still have slavery actually?
I think mostly third world countries right now. If memory serves, like, I want to say Nigeria? It's either Nigeria or Libya. Like, one of those two, I think, is still having a slavering issue.
Or do you think if there is a country like America still having slaves, would slaves still be a thing more commonly?
Oh god, yeah, that's also kind of... But basically, like, the whole thing is like, you know what? This might be kind of a bad idea, because then we'd have characters, and then we'd have people openly sympathizing with slave owners. As well as spreading the message, inadvertently spreading the message of, well, I mean, not all people who own slaves are that bad.
That would have been interesting, at least, I feel. If they did it right, there could have been a really interesting story, I feel, but
yeah, the problem
that requires like professional, I've done this for years, I know what the fuck I'm doing level.
Like you have to work really fucking hard to do a whole thing of like this, like,
this is fucked up. This is fucked up. It's still fucked up, but like, you know, this is just what would have happened.
That's the whole issue, is like, because what you would be dealing with is like characters who do not see a good portion of the people around them as people.
Yeah.
And therein lies the issue.
I think it'd be really cool to watch somebody at least fall in love. Like, you know, there was a bunch of people, you know, having sex with slaves and stuff, and then having bastard children, and it would have been cool to like watch the perspective of how people like that lived and stuff.
I mean, there is also the issue of that is like questionable consent.
Yeah, that's another part of it.
It's like the whole issue with, and like, I don't think that the majority of writers are good enough to be able to tackle an issue of that kind
questionable
of deal.
Consent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if they do not have the right to say no.
I think it would have been good if it intentionally tried to show just how bad slavery was.
Yeah, like if it did what Django Unchained did.
Yeah, stuff like that.
in which it made out like all the slavers to be like fucking idiots.
That was just a. I don't know what you call that again.
The Tarantino movie, Django Unchained.
I'm trying to think of a word to describe that. Euphoric, maybe, for people to watch everyone be stupid in that?
Like, just to like have the piss be taken out of like slave owners and watch them be brutally killed.
Yes.
I think cathartic might be the right word.
Yeah, catharsis, yeah. Euphoric's totally different.
Because like the whole thing you see with it is like the people doing it are like using like religion to justify their actions, which is something that actually happened. And
Oh, yeah, I read about that in high school. Like, literally, they try to, like, we're just like, yeah, slavery's in the Bible, so it should be fine, man. Just be happy with what God's given you as your destiny now, you know.
And Wisecrack did an interesting thing. Like, one of the things that I didn't even really up on because of the fact that I didn't know about this is in ancient Greece, one of the justifications given for slavery is, well, people are able to speak eloquently. Therefore, if they can't speak eloquently, then they're not quite human. Therefore, it's okay to keep people as slaves because they're not able to speak well. And if you pay attention in the movie, the majority of the slave owners are mumbling mush mouths who can barely be understood, while all the slaves are like speaking clearly.
Is that intentional?
Yes.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful.
Like that. There's also the fact that I forgot the main character's name. Jamie Foxx's character. Like what he immediately dresses in upon like more or less becoming free is just like this over the top rich plantation owner apparel. Which like ties into the idea of taking the iconography of a cult, of a like grouper mindset, not to become part of it, but to tear it down. And like it's an interesting, like, well thought out movie. Like down to the fact that like Mr. Candy insists that he be called Monsieur Candy, despite the fact that he can't speak French.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's like the German dude, like when he gets told that he's supposed to be called Monsieur Candy, is like starts speaking a bit of French. He's like, no, don't speak French to him. He gets upset. Anyway, your line. Or wait, no, I didn't finish. Why won't she come clean? Why won't she identify Malice's accomplice? There we go. Now your line.
Oh yeah. I pushed those thoughts from my mind as Claude continued to hold and kiss me. He's so sweet to me. I really think we'll be all right. I really think things will be all right. He was just as warm and comforting on that day. That summer.
Oh God. Oh God, this is a flashback, isn't it?
Yep.
I hope it's not, but someday we'll be together.
I need to get that Arthur transition noise. You know what I'm talking about? Like that as they change scenes in Arthur. And use that every time there's a flashback.
Oh, the cartoon. Got ya.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, King Arthur?
No. I mean the real Arthur. Fucking Arthur the whatever the fuck he is. Aardvark?
Yeah. Who looks nothing like an Aardvark.
Yeah, and he uses headphones in a really weird way.
I was trying to remember the Arthur theme, but all that came to my mind was DuckTales. Every day that I'm walking down the street, there's somebody that I'll meet and something, I don't know it. Yeah, but like I was like trying to remember it, and all of a sudden it was just like, life is like a hurricane.
Here in
Duckburg.
Oh, Berg, fuck. I didn't fuck it up. That was you.
Anyway, your line.
Oh yeah, you said someday we'll be together, whatever?
Yeah.
Danisha, my darling. What Frollo said as he held me tightly. I'll never forget you. We walked through the RC Gardens that morning while Fern readied his '59 Chevy. I couldn't believe that in a few final moments I'll be on my way home. Mary Lewis was still asleep. Fern and I had said our goodbyes the night before.
Okay, maybe this is a skip forward. I can never know. Oh, God. Darling?
Darling. Darling.
Oh,
How
God.
did there
Recreate a redub of Monster Musume where the only thing changed is that Mia is deep south.
How did there, darling?
Darling.
That would actually be really cool, though. Let's be real.
All I'm imagining is like Moo Hut's fucking the Lamia design he did for Red Dead Redemption 2. It was like the cowboy hat and the twin revolvers.
That would actually be really cool.
It's just like, deep sap Lamia. Jules and Renee had already hugged me goodbye, and they made me a farewell gift, a drawing depicting the children and myself playing baseball, that very game that nearly destroyed our relationship with Claude, and ultimately brought us together.
Aw,
Yeah, that
how
was really
sweet,
stupid.
Pieces of shit. Alright. I showed this work of art to Claude, saying, "You do realize that it was Renee who threw that ball. The little girl had quite a pitching arm." Claude laughed and said, "She's going to the dungeon." Remind me to thank little Renee de Choppers with a trip to the dungeon. Joined him in his amusement as we strolled through the RC garden. Then Claude Frollo took something from his pocket. It was a dick in the box.
Step one, got a hole in a box. It was a silver key suspended from a wide black velvet ribbon. That is a door.
A door?
He began as he handed me the key. Sorry, I just thought it'd be funny if he stopped there.
It's a door.
There is a door.
Ah, yes, a door.
On the back side of the Palace of Justice. This is the only key that fits the lock.
Why are you giving it to her then? Keep it yourself.
Because how else is she supposed to get into the Bone Zone?
She could go through the front.
Your line.
It was a silver key suspended from a wide black velvet ribbon. Oh, that's what you just said. I examined the sterling silver key and with its fancy scroll work. I then said to Claude, "Why are you giving me this? I thought."
Claude chuckled, kissed me again, and then replied, "I know you will return to me someday. I am trusting you with this. Promise me you will not lose it. After all, it is the only key." Immediately accidentally drops it down a sewer grate.
I get into the future and toss it in the grass. Fuck that. I'm not going back with my friend's a spy. If anything, I'm pissed off at her now. Also, I would think it's really funny if they brought locks from the future into the past and watch like actual like genuine thieves try to pick the locks and be really confused.
Oh god, do padlock.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is this thing? Why is there a knob? What?
What is this thing? Who made this?
What is the purpose of this thing? No, that's not the right line. Your line. I was truly touched.
I was truly touched. However, I kept thinking, how am I going to be able to visit Claude often enough to use this key? After all, Jackie only made up 2 time travel devices, one for Fern and one for herself. Yeah, because you're fucking irrelevant.
Okay there, rice gum.
Irrelevant.
I pushed those thoughts from my mind as I kissed Claude again, deeply this time. There was tongue. I fought back tears and began singing that old Supreme song.
My love is yours,
of
baby.
Rice gum. Anyway.
Yeah, my love is yours, baby.
All from the start.
You possess my soul. Now, honey.
You possess my soul. Now, honey!
Now, honey!
And I know you own my heart.
And all I want to say is, I have to be right back. Sorry.
Someday we'll be together.
No, like I actually have to be right back.
All right. Yeah, as I've said before, I really have to wonder who on earth would just go out of their way to buy like stuff from Supreme, because it's all either really fucking boring or really fucking gaudy and terrible to look at. And that's not even getting started on the fact that it is a perversion of an art piece that is very much anti-capitalism and consumerism. I don't think the creator of I Think I Shop Therefore I Am would be all too happy about that. Jesus Christ, like why would you ever want to do that? It's just a terrible idea. It looks terrible, and the only reason it's being bought is because of the fact that there is this false scarcity to it, caused in part to the fact that the shop things are either sold for a limited time, or the online store makes it to where you don't get to see everything that's being sold, so it's always a surprise when you click. Just all this different bullshit. Like I really don't understand like the appeal of that. And I'm not saying that I have a great fashion sense, but dear God, would I not be caught dead wearing half of that shit? And there's also the whole fact that like if a brand is actually worth like exorbitant prices, it's typically not going to have a logo all over it, because what it's going to use to sell itself is its own quality. You know, like someone with any fucking like self-respect. Like Supreme shirts are basically the clothing equivalent of that person who goes around refusing to shut up about how nice of a person they are. That is Supreme. Like, yeah, congratulations. You've done the bare minimum. You have covered a body. Thumbs up to you. Sold an anarchist brick. At least in the case of Banksy, most of his art isn't something that was intended to be sold anyway. He was doing like fucking graffiti, and then like, oh hey, this is good. Let's tear it out of the wall and sell it for exorbitant prices. You know, the exact thing that it's critiquing us for doing. But you can't really make art critiquing the system, because the moment you do, you've created a commodity and therefore have just fueled the system. Saying is the world is shit. Just like it's some fucking just I like why would you like fuck, artist intent exists for a reason, and even if you don't technically agree with it at the time, it's still there. Every piece of media, regardless of what anyone says, has a message behind it, intentional or unintentional. Like the fact that oh fuck, what was his name? Shit, his most recent movie was Dragged Across Concrete. Um S. Craig Zoller. Like S. Craig Zoller going off and saying, "Oh, I don't make films with coherent messages because those are agenda films." Which I have to say, you fucking dumbass. Like every film has a message to it, regardless of what anyone says. If you don't think a film has a message to it, that means that either you agree with its message or you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like that's just how it is. Like it is that obvious. Like it's typically pretty damn obvious. Like that shouldn't be something that people need to go around saying like, oh well, film shouldn't be going around having messages. Well then, I don't know what that noise was. And it looks like he's not back. That was just a thing that happened. Okay. But, yeah, like, regardless of, like, the author, of whether or not the writer, director, whatever, intends to have a message in their story, there is going to be a message there, and it is going to reflect the mentality or worldview of the person creating it. Like, that's how it is.
Nice rant.
Hi.
Hi.
I ended up going off on a rant about a guy that's been pretty easily, like, confirmed to be a bit of a white supremacist.
And Supreme.
Also that, yeah. Oh, did you hear the entire thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in the bathroom, brought my headphones with me just so I could listen. That's what that noise was, me flushing the toilet.
Yeah. Basically, like, the whole thing with, like, that guy being pretty easily, like, confirmed to be a white supremacist. His latest film made this really evident, but, like, all of his previous film, because there was it, like, Brawl in Cell Block 19, I think it was what it was called? Brawl on Cell Block 99. Like, Brawl on Cell Block 99. That movie was about, like, this, like, all of his movies are, like, fucking damsel in distress flicks, which, ew.
First problem.
Yeah. Although the fact that it's in some way subversive means that people tend to like it. But, like,
does the girl shoot someone?
No, she's getting forced into having an abortion by a medical team.
What the fuck?
You know, because that's a thing that apparently happens.
No, I don't think you ever get forced to have an abortion unless, you know.
Unless it's, like, for medical reasons.
Yeah.
Like, both you and the baby will die.
Yeah.
Therefore, we can make it to where one of you lives. But, like, Brawl in the Cell Block 99, basically, like, the dude's in prison, main character's in prison, and he's just, like, fighting his way, like, trying to fight his way out more, and, to get to, like, his wife or whatever she was. And all of the people he's fighting are Hispanic.
What you try to get? Like some, like,
those are all the prisoners. Apparently everyone else in this prison other than this big burly white dude is, like, Hispanic, like, drug runners and shit like that.
They would have had to put him specifically in a Mexican-based drug rushing prison then. Like he's in a Mexican prison.
Like, yeah, that would have probably been needed to happen. But his other his next movie, Tomahawk Ridge, was about Native Americans kidnapping this one settler's wife and, like, raping and brutally beating her, and so, like, the settler dude and, like, his friends have to go and, like, exact revenge and, like, fight to go get her back.
Wow, maybe they shouldn't have raped and pillaged their land.
You'd think that. And then there's his latest movie, Dragged Across Concrete, which includes, among other things, Mel Gibson, who says a line, and I'm not kidding, says a line more or less along the lines of, you can say something you can, like, say, slip up and say one thing a few years ago over the phone and suddenly people are holding it against you.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life. Bear in mind, what Mel Gibson said was more or less, like, a whole bunch of terrible anti-Semitic shit.
Oh.
Like, basically saying that the entire film industry is being, like, secretly run by the Jews. And went out of his way to portray the Jewish people as terrible people in Passion of the Christ.
Oh.
So it's like, Mel, fuck off. Like, there's one, like, and the whole thing in that is that, like, if memories, I'm trying to remember what exactly it is, but it's, like, a increasingly black neighborhood, and so, like, following the white characters and that, and they're going off, like, talking about the fact that because of where they're living, their kids are more likely to end up getting raped as they grow up and shit like that. And like,
That sounds something like what my father said, not in that same way.
but yeah,
But
it's
he's
like,
pretty much upset because as like the neighborhood gets less costly, more people of color are going to move in. He
oh
didn't say
no.
he was going to rape anyone, but like he's just like the neighborhood's going to get more loud, I think, or something. I don't remember. I tend to ignore my dad when he says stuff like that.
I mean, it won't be long until, with Texas, until white people are technically the minority. Which, okay, who
The
cares?
Hispanics are. I'm wondering who's taking over.
It's
Wait,
the
but is it
Hispanic
Hispanic?
population. That's the most rapidly growing population. It has to do primarily with the fact that they are a primarily Catholic population, and so using protection is kind of seen as a no-no among Catholics.
Oh.
So it's not so. It's not like,
Sorry, that was racist. I had to say it though.
yeah, but it's entirely like religiously based. Like the reason why.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's literally just you're introducing a whole bunch of Catholics to the population. It just so happens that the majority of them are one race.
And they're just increasing their population rapidly through that.
Yeah, basically, it's just a whole thing of, well, it's against our religion to put on a condom.
Well, all right. That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, like, that's the issue. It's all religion's fault.
No, I could just picture, like, people, like, propaganding against Catholics for, like, overpopulation in the future, like, when there's too many people in the world, and, like, there's actually a big fight about whether or not condoms are okay. Or, like, abortion laws and stuff, like one-child laws that, you know, have happened in other countries.
That Garfunkel and Oates song just starts playing on loudspeaker. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Nah.
It's about primarily, it has to do primarily with like Catholic teachings, and that's basically what's jokingly referred to as God's loophole. That being that anal sex doesn't count as sex, apparently. And so like the whole joke with that is, well, if it's only anal, you haven't lost your virginity. And so like the song's called "Fuck Me in the Ass Because I Love Jesus."
Nice.
And like there's even a joke at one point about like with how the Catholic Church is, it's only okay if you're straight. It's like, oh, well. Anyway, your line.
Claude embraced, right?
Yes.
Claude embraced me again, kissed me over and over, and then softly sang along with me. We held each other for several minutes. Just then we heard a familiar voice behind us. Pardon the intrusion on this tender moment, but I do believe we're ready to go, said Fern.
Also, can I bring up the fact that, like, nobody fucking does this in real life?
What?
Oh, I'm sad. I'm going to sing.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking does that. Like,
not even people who like to make music and they're sad and they let their emotions help them write the song.
Well, like, okay, just imagine like some terrible shit's going down, and all of a sudden one of the people next to you just starts singing.
Can you fuck off, please?
Yeah,
I'm trying to be sad.
That's the thing, is like, that doesn't tend to happen if someone's going, like, what they're basically doing is more like what's akin to what you see in a musical. Yeah. But it's in a literary form, meaning that is completely pointless because we cannot hear the music. Therefore, we're just reading lyrics.
I see your point now. This is dumb.
I didn't bring it up earlier because at least that was a festival. Which it was still dumb to put the lyrics in. Because it's like, wow, so we just had the lyrics to go off of. This doesn't help us at all.
Yeah, there's no beat to it.
Yeah, like, you can't get a feel for what's going on because you aren't describing the music. You're just outright stating what instruments are being played and the lyrics.
This would only be okay in audiobook format.
Yes. I guess this is it.
Claude walked with us to the car. I squeezed his hand tightly as Fern unlocked the doors.
Oh, Claude, how I wish you were coming with me. I said, my voice quavering.
All right, I will, he said, getting in the car.
Then I invited him to the 20th century. Just for a day. We can go to the state fair. There's so much I want to show you.
Claude just kissed me, saying, "My love, we've had this conversation before. You know I would never fit in your time, just as you would never truly fully be happy here. I love you so dearly, I'd never deprive you of your happiness."
You just have a long-term relationship in which the distance is actually time. Who gives a shit?
That would be actually pretty cool. Like, I need you to leave the city. Why? Just trust me. Boom, it gets blown up the next day or something.
Oh, God. I'm just flashing back to the time traveler's wife.
Ooh, never seen that.
Stuff in that. There was a subplot in the book about the fact that the female lead in it kept having miscarriages because of the fact that like the fetus, like after the time traveling dude, which the whole thing with him is he couldn't control when he time traveled.
Oh.
He just randomly hopped through time. And
Ugh.
so, like, what ended up happening is that she kept on having miscarriages because the fetus would just suddenly jump through time.
Ooh.
What the fuck?
But, like, so his kids would have the same power? That's what they were implying?
Yes.
That's depressing. Ugh.
And then you juxtapose this with a line, with one of the lines that I distinctly remember to this day. My erection was tall enough to ride the tallest rides at Coney Island. I mean, to ride the most ride every ride at Coney Island.
That's pretty hot.
It's just like that was one of the things said at one point, and it was like, oh, okay.
I had a big erection.
I had a big old boner.
It was huge.
God damn it.
Is it my line?
No, it's my line.
Oh.
I understood completely. A few days ago, Claude had asked me to be his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Did that happen?
I
don't remember.
Kind of? Maybe.
This fan fiction's like a Transformers movie. I remember none of what happens. Only in that case, it's because the camera is done so shittily that nothing leaves an imprint.
Nothing remembers. I don't remember anything in this because I just hate it.
But knowing his weakness for women, and there were many, I politely refused. Besides, as he said, I would never fully adjust to life in the 15th century. So both of you go to the year 3000.
Where both of you? Yeah, why aren't they going like into the future and like trying to steal medical knowledge to bring into the past?
You both don't fit in.
But yeah. Alright, so where am I?
I watched Claude.
I watched Quad Frollo as Fern started the motor. He sadly smiled as I waved goodbye. I could read his lips as he silently said that I love you.
My eyes were locked on Claude as Fern steered the car onto the main road. Just before Fern floored the accelerator and pressed that button, I relate heavily to this button. I looked back one more time. All I could see was a blurry figure astride a black stallion. Then I was engulfed in a bright white light, and the horse was on fire.
I was already dressed when Claude returned to his... What the fuck?
I guess it was a flashback.
Sorry, just when Claude returned to his chambers, I was beginning to feel somewhat happy again, although my mind was still on the recent tragic events.
I swear to God, this story plays more fast and loose with what time it is than fucking Man of Steel.
We could literally skip all these flashbacks. They add nothing.
Nothing adds anything. By that logic, we could skip the entire story.
Want to?
No. At the rate this is going, like, we're gonna have to read the last two parts with Tom.
Yeah, but no offense, I kind of expected this to happen, let's be real.
Don't you want to inflict one last bit of harm that isn't caused by a sandworm?
This will be the killing blow for Arlo. Fanfiction.
Still loving that. Like, he gets like, demon gets thrown and then gets impaled. Knocked unconscious.
Yeah, I mean,
Because otherwise, he would have died first episode.
yeah.
Perhaps this was for the best.
I don't want to do that to my friends. I'm pretty sure everyone would hate me if I did that to them. Because I want to run a session with like all 8 of my stupid friends,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be hell.
Oh, I could create some homebrew monsters for that.
Yeah, I mean, I might need some advice from you to how to run that. Because, oh dear lord.
Well, yeah, but that's D&D. That would be something you want advice from Tom on.
No, my friends are doing the D&D. I'm gonna do Monster of the Week for them.
Oh, you're doing Monster of the Week too?
Yeah, I said I'd do it with all of my friends who are interested.
Oh god.
Yeah, imagine the idiocy of, the demon in our party. If he's reading this, I'm sorry, I still love you, but he was okay. But, like, times it by 1,000,000 with how stupid all my friends are.
Oh god. I think that really would be drunk leading the blind.
Yep.
Let's see.
Chapter 1. Burger King foot lettuce.
Did you read your line? The Claude kissed?
No.
Okay.
Claude kissed my lips and then said, "Ready to go, my love. We're going to Notre Dame to visit Quasimodo. He too was stung by the news of Phoebus's failed marriage to Esmeralda, and I trusted her." Quasi said to me the day after Jules' death, "Poor Quasi, duped. He really needed our support."
Darling, you look stunning.
Darling? Darling, Sama?
Darling.
I really like the Everyday Life with Mike Cop version of that. Have you seen that?
I have seen that. I'm not gonna lie, the giant tarantula woman's probably my favorite design.
Oh, for real. But I'm just picturing somebody just being like, "Sup, homie." And that's what they refer to their, the harem leader as, just homie.
Oh. Bruh.
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 I should do Everyday Life with monster guys and just, do the
that would be interesting. I am flashing back to that one, monster, what was the name for, non-humans in that series? Wasn't it, demi-human or something like that?
That sounds about right.
Like that demi-human mixer, and you have those 2 human women show up. Where's all the hot monster guys?
Oh, you have to go to a different convention for that. This is the girl one, pretty much.
They said it was the next day.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, they said that, and my immediate reaction was like, yeah, where are they?
And it just cuts back to them, that's where it starts the next day.
Oh god, we just have a fucking either a Jose or a fucking shoujo. Monster Boy one.
Yeah. What's Jose mean?
Jose is more geared towards women who were 18 or older. And it's not necessarily explicit in nature, but it's something that's less of that over the top romanticized relationship of everything's perfect or over the top genre, but instead relationships with more of a realistic portrayal.
So you're saying she goes to the convention and she almost gets into a fight with some really aggressive dragon guy.
That'd be interesting.
And then they just fall in love, and he's just really protective of her, like a treasure.
Me and a friend ended up having a joke about one relationship involving a naga, and so as a whole thing is dude had no temperature regulation. It's early in the morning, tail wraps around ankle, no, stay, I need warmth.
Please don't leave me. Hang out with the dragon guy. He's just lighting something on fire in the house.
Oh god. But one of the things that I've been reading that fits into that genre was genderless danashi thing, and it's this girl dating like someone who's at very least biologically male but seems to be agender, and he's actually like a pretty like well-known fashion model online.
Nice.
And there was just this one moment that I kind of remember because he was being told like they were being told like that you can't let anyone know that you're dating someone because that could fuck up your image. And all of a sudden, like whenever he's like confronted by like fans, like one of them's like, "Will you please go out with me?" And he's just like, "I'm sorry, I'm seeing someone." It's like outright, "I'm seeing someone."
I bet they get devastated at that.
No, they were like, "Oh, well, thanks for telling me."
Really?
Yeah, it was just a whole thing of like, "Thank you for being honest."
Yeah. That's a nice subversion, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it was kind of nice. So it was just this whole thing that kind of made me laugh of like when your boyfriend does his makeup better than you do.
I just love it if like one of the fans just like, "Who you seeing though?" It just points to the girl,
Okay.
and then they just
like,
gasp like, "You're gonna make such cute babies together." And then like a few days later online, they see like pictures of like theories of what the kids will look like.
oh
It's
god.
people are like drawing their kids.
Yeah, like I don't think it was. If memory serves, it wasn't revealed, but it was a whole thing of like, if memory serves, she's just like some office worker.
Nice.
So it was just kind of a nice thing, and it was like actually portraying a relationship kind of realistically. Like they're both living together in the same apartment. Like in the mornings, they're waking up in bed together, stuff like that.
Nice.
It was just the whole thing. Is like it's not going explicitly into like sexual territory or anything, but it is portraying a relationship in a somewhat realistic manner. And like, yeah, they're dating, they're sleeping together.
But
Anyway, Claude was referring to my attire of a smart floor-length purple dress and that black mini cloak you gave me last Christmas.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, and the very next day, you time traveled and took it away.
You gave it away.
This year to, I don't know, keep me from tears or whatever.
Yeah, keep me from tears. I'll give it to someone special.
I'm gonna give it to Quasimodo.
Quasimodo is very terrified. Oh yeah, last Christmas I gave you my heart, and the very next day you were very traumatized by this very visceral gesture of mine. Come to think of it, I was wearing this cloak on that day after the Feast of Fools after I countered that sham Claude Frollo. What?
We had heard voices coming from the palace or place de Notre Dame.
I think that was supposed to be palace, but they misspelled it, so it's Place de Notre Dame.
Oh, God.
Whatever is going on? Claude asked a nearby guard. Your Grace, said the sergeant. It's Captain Phoebus. He found his wife, La Esmeralda.
Holy
shit.
shit.
Have to make sure to respond to that in a bit.
Sorry, my friend's posting pictures of cats. Hold on.
Oh.
So
I was
adorable.
just referring to the post that happened. That I got an announcement for.
Oh. And where?
The
IOW or IEW?
Yeah, only ends well.
Yeah.
Claude Frollo's expression was, well, I don't think I've ever seen an expression quite like that.
I ain't think I ever seen quack, 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 quack.
What?
Quack. I watched Phoebus and Esmeralda arrest the gypsy witch, demanded Claude. Then he turned to me and said, finally, I'll make that conspiring vixen pay for her crimes.
Fuck off. He just wants to go out, dance in the street, get some money. Possibly steal some money.
Stealing's illegal.
So?
Okay.
God, I'm just, again...
Can I go to your house and steal your shit then?
I mean, you're gonna have to get past me, but...
Boy, I know where you live. I can just leave you at the... I could just leave... Well, I don't know where your parents are home. I'll get back to you on my plan to steal.
I mean, Oxdad's been dead for hundreds of years. I'm pretty sure he's never home.
Ugh. Well,
I watched feet.
I meant stealing from you, but okay.
Thanks for bringing up that sore.
Oof. This is awkward.
I watched Phoebus and Esmeralda argue. Her rough-edged voice grated on my nerves like a file on steel bars. Then I said to Claw, "Wait a minute, baby. Let me take care of something."
Yeah, I gotta take care of something. Hold on.
Oh, God damn it. Really? Really? You know that can fuck up with the recording, right?
I just had to update Discord. It's fine. What's the worst that can happen? People aren't gonna hear me anymore?
No. The fact that could cause there to be a sudden skip in the audio and suddenly it's desynced.
Which means?
Meaning that we're not actually saying things in the audio at the same time that we're saying in real life. So all of a sudden, your stuff's being put forward a couple seconds or so, and there's this weird overlap between our voices to where it seems like we're just constantly talking over each other.
I see. So you're saying if I do whoa, 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 it's gonna sound really weird.
No matter what, that's gonna sound weird.
Well, shit.
Your line.
Really?
Yes.
Let me see.
Claude looked puzzled.
Claude looked puzzled, my dear. I've waited all this time. Surely you understand that.
I interrupted him. "Oh no, sugar britches." I kissed him, adding, "I know you want this girl, but a gal, but I have some unfinished business of my own."
Shut up.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I left Claude's side and walked over to Phoebus and Esmeralda. Poor Phoebus appeared bewildered and weary from Esmeralda's griping. She carried on how she was never in love with Phoebus and that she just used Quasi to finally let Frollo get what was coming to him. Then that New World gal had to spoil everything.
Yes, she did.
Esmeralda on the shoulder, she wheeled around to face me.
"Do I know you?" she coldly asked. My gaze was cool and level as hers.
I believe we met a couple years ago, but the Minister of Justice says no matter. Her eyes widened in sheer astonishment when she realized who was standing before her.
I should have known. I should have known. That said, she hauled off and tried to land a perfect right jab. Aw. But I was quicker. Aw. I wanted this asshole to get decked.
Yeah.
My hand blocked hers, and I gave her the sister treatment, much to the amusement of the crowd, especially for Claude Frollo.
Boo!
Boo.
Look here, babe, I said in a raised, full-o'-sass voice. I don't know what kind of scam you're pulling, but it ain't cool. You know what I'm saying, sugar?
Esmeralda looked at me.
Speaking like that.
Apparently it's her sister treatment. Baby?
Girl!
Esmeralda looked at me with big green eyes. The poor girl didn't know what hit her. She stood motionless as I continued to give her what I called the big payback.
And just where do you go off using good folks like my buzzy Quasimodo that was low down and low class messing with a sweet kid like Quas? That boy's like family and you don't want to mess with my family. Esmeralda's eyes were full of fire as she began to speak.
You get off with this bourgeoisie bullshit.
Yeah, if anyone's more low class, it's fucking her. Esmeralda, not you, bitch.
Using your fucking clout to get what you fucking want.
What a nerd.
Oh, I'm dating someone who's high ranking. Therefore, we get to do whatever the fuck we want. Fuck off.
Yeah.
We have money, therefore we have all the power. Fuck off. So there's probably someone out there who's like, "Oh God, it's that series with that fucking socialist."
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not saying that there's a right form of economics. I'm just saying that there's several wrong forms, and one of them is capitalism.
You're right. We must go back to communism.
Well, no,
Blam,
communism's also
blam.
wrong because that still requires someone to be in power, which is the ultimate flaw of communism.
Clearly, the only right way to do communism is to have robots rule.
Yeah, like the whole thing with communism is it's supposed to be a system in which everyone's equal. But in order to actually have a system, you need someone in charge.
A robot. A robot that's unbiased.
Oh, God. Are you quite finished? She said through clenched teeth. Are you quite finished? She said through clenched teeth. I shot back the I'm gonna knock you out look as I kept assaulting the gypsy with my words.
I really wish she could have turned around and walked away. Like, can y'all just put me in the dungeon already? This girl's really boring.
I really wish that Esmeralda would have kicked her in the vag.
Notice from the author, the remainder of Frollo Freak's vocal chastisement of Esmeralda can't be printed because it's unprintable. The rest is cool though. What?
Fuck off.
Smiley face.
Esmeralda was livid. She trembled with rage, so totally outdone by this postmodern American sister that this postmodern American sister had verbally tore her apart. Oh my God. Oh, I think I know what happened here. She couldn't come up with a line.
Probably.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You couldn't even call her like you fucking wet sock of a human being. You couldn't even say that. Oh my God.
You are ugly and you smell of the pot that I defecate in the morning.
You fucking sack. You fucking rancid ass sack of shit going around fucking scamming people. Like, that was off the fucking top of my head.
The wet sock thing would be like, oh wait, you wouldn't even understand that shit.
Yeah.
That's how dumb you are.
That's the whole thing though. She was too lazy and too unimaginative to come up with a thing to write.
You filthy mouthed. Esmeralda says she tried to sock me, blocking her blow. I then said to her, honey, I'm not a violent Bitch, shut up!
Fuck off.
Prefer to take you off my words, but
I removed my cloak and hat, handing them to a nearby woman off and knocked Esmeralda to the ground. I think I broke a tooth because she was holding her jaw. And I believe I saw a tear.
Real girls don't use their fists. Real girls do WWE moves.
I'm pretty sure that anyone worth dealing with in a fight is doing WWE moves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not an interesting fight unless you suplex someone.
Yeah.
You just drag him up to a banister, grab a hold of him, and like leap over and pile drive him. Drag them up a table.
So you're just like, someone from the audience, bring me a table. What does she need a table for?
Just like grabs flings, slams them down onto the table.
Oh God.
God is my witness, he is broken in half.
Oh
But
my
I'm
gosh.
saying
I want to make a medieval wrestling story now.
Oh God, that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. Like, he has exploded through that table. Oh God.
But instead we got this.
Yeah.
Is it my line?
Is your does the next line start with Esmeralda? A short little line, or is that actually still part of my line?
Probably part of yours.
Esmeralda knew she had been bested.
I removed my put my cloak and hat. I put on my cloak and hat as Claude summoned the guards to take Esmeralda away to the Palace of Justice. As the soldiers put her in shackles, I walked up to her, squared my shoulders proudly. Shit! Bitch, she has guards on her! Don't act like you're... This is like some small-ass chihuahua that like it...
She threw one punch. This fight lasted one line.
This is like my older sister's mini pin or whatever. that when it lived with us, the older dog wasn't fond of other dogs, and it's a small dog, so it got into fights a lot.
Yeah.
And the bigger dog, of course, beat the shit out of the smaller one. But the second we picked up that small dog, he got all high and mighty again.
Well, this isn't even that case. It's literally, I threw a punch, now the person I punched is being dragged away to be locked up, and I'm gonna act all smug.
I know, this is stupid. Brownie, a
Oh
firm,
my
clear
god.
voice said, "Baby, let me give you some advice. The next time you give a man that almost lap dance, get him all hot
Fuck
and
off.
sweaty. And don't follow through, honey. Don't expect him to be too accommodating the second time."
Fuck off!
I really hope the guards dragged her away mid-rant. Just like, fuck you. You have better shit to do, lady.
Oh my god.
Like the gypsy dancers.
Literally,
fuck this.
she just told someone off for blue balling Frollo.
Fuck Quad Frollo.
Like, aside from the fact that the whole blue balling argument is fucking stupid as shit, like, you have a fucking right hand, just masturbate afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about Claude Frollo, like, next time you give a man an almost lap dance, fuck off. Fuck
Quad
off.
Frollo doesn't deserve a lap dance.
No. You know who did, though? That hobbit last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the whole thing. Like, I fucking hate that mentality. Oh, you shouldn't be going around leading people on. Motherfucker, that one was getting led on.
You need to make your point clear. I'm here to have sex, and if they don't want it, then leave. Or, be understanding and don't have sex.
Or just the whole thing of, I'm dancing. I'm a dancer. My job is to dance.
Do not touch the dancers, please.
If you get aroused, that's your problem.
There's bathrooms in there for a reason. It might be weird to do it in public, but if you're like me, you've mastered stealth masturbation. What?
I'm just imagining, like, being at a strip club. It's like, oh, fuck, I gotta take a piss. And you just walk into the bathroom, you're like, dum, 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 dum.
You just like, which dancer was it? Yeah, I understand. Dunk, dunk, dunk.
That's the whole thing. Like, even at a strip club, it's like, okay, yeah, they're dancing. It's meant to be erotic and all that, but it's not like, oh, I need to masturbate. It's just like, okay.
I have a boner now. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like
have a boner. That'll go away eventually.
And just like pick up your phone, and it's gone.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. Is like, oh god, these are the kinds of people that are gonna.
You want to finish this out at least, so we don't have to think about it anymore?
I fucking hate that. Like I wasn't kidding, because I knew about that whole thing of like, oh, we're gonna blame the fucking victim of this situation because of the fact that, oh, she turned someone on. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
You need more, self-control.
I do, or they do?
They do.
Yeah. Claude Frollo, who stood nearby the entire episode, during the entire episode, endeavored to keep his utter amusement in check. He walked up next to me and laughingly said in my ear, "My love, that was... I can't describe it.
I really wish you were more mature."
That was
He then
really
led
fucking
me
stupid.
through the cathedral doors. Quasimodo was standing at the foot of the bell tower steps. Quasi embraced me, saying, "I guess Esmeralda had it coming to her, gee."
Fuck off.
Quasi glanced over at Phoebus, who had just walked into the cathedral with Renee. Poor Phoebus, and I was mad at him for nothing. Fuck this!
Esmeralda was the only character in the entire thing who actually showed Quasimodo any fucking kindness. Don't you fucking start with this shit.
Some people just like to watch the stories they write fanfictions about burn.
Then Claude said to his young charge, "Dear boy, why don't you show Renee the cathedral?" He turned to me, adding, Malice never saw fit to bring his siblings to church. Renee hasn't set foot inside since her parents' death." Claude, sensing that his bleak words may have a negative effect on Renee, then said to Quasi, "Besides, I would like to be alone with this charming lady."
A broad smile spread across Quad Frollo's face. He took my hand into his, saying to Quasi, "Run along, boy, then you can bring Lil Renee to the bell tower." His voice lowered to a whisper as he told Quasi, "But not now,
Claude gave me a quick wink. Quasi even returned the wink as Quasimodo met Renee and Phoebus at the far end of Notre Dame. Then I turned to Claude and said, "What was that all about? Gee, I fucking wonder."
Claude held my hand tightly, then he leaned over and said, his words punctuated with deep chuckles, "I have something to say to you, a compliment, no mess."
Fuck off. I knew he was referring to that little altercation outside. Now even I couldn't help from giggling as Claude and I ascended the bell tower steps.
I'm not reading the next chapter today. I need a break after that.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Also, it took us over an hour to do that. God fucking damn it.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Seriously, fuck that.
Like, I cannot fucking stand that sort of victim blame bullshit. Like,
yeah.
mm.
Let's just end it. Come on. Craig, come on.
Yeah.
Please just Craig, fast. Craig, please.
Like a